am here today with my August Stack It challenge. In case you're new to Stack It, it is the slump busting challenge that I set myself a couple of months ago to kickstart my TBR, and I've been using it every month since. The principle of it is really simple. You pull a pile of books off of your shelf, you put them in any order that you like, and you read that stack from top to bottom. You don't skip, there's no passing. If you're reading a book that you don't enjoy, you DNF it, and if you are not wanting to read a book, then maybe you need to ask yourself, why? Am I going to want to read it in 3 months? Maybe that book needs to be DNF'd. Alternatively, you can give the book a go and maybe it'll turn into your favourite. The whole idea is that you read the books that are on your shelves. And today, before we get into the books that I have put on my August stack, I am going to be adding 2 new rules. So my first new rule is going to be that I get 1 addition to my stack every month, and this is really only to cover, for me personally, new releases. Last month, Record of a Spaceborne Few by Becky Chambers came out and it wasn't on my stack, and so I couldn't read it, and it sat in front of me on my book haul pile, tormenting me with its beauty and being like, Leanne can't have me, Leanne can't have me. But if you're doing Stack It, maybe it's because your book club has picked a particular book, or maybe you're reading a book for a project that you're doing or a readathon and you need to add it in. Now we've got you covered. The second rule that I'm going to be adding is a unique problem that I have discovered that I have got from the Stack It challenge, and that is that sometimes when I make a stack, the book that's on the very bottom, or at least near to the very bottom, starts to call to me. Sometimes this is a book that I've had on my shelves for ages and I'm re-energized for it, and sometimes it's a new release which just happened to end up near the bottom of the stack. And so I've decided that I get the option once every stack to flip the stack. So if there's a book on the very bottom that I want to read, I can at any point flip that stack, read that book, but then I have to read the rest of the stack in order, and I only get to flip it once because otherwise I only get to flip it once. And now that we've got those additions out of the way, you'll see exactly why I need them for this stack. So if you were around in July, you will probably remember that Kirsty from the Tea Is Also Cursed was here. We had a great time. She was visiting and she used all of her evil book bestie points to pull all of the books off of my shelves that she really wanted me to read, and she gave me 16 of them. And with the best will in the world, the 16 books in 1 month was never going to happen. So I am carrying some books over. The next book that I am going to be starting is Blindsighted by Karen Slaughter. This is the first book in the Grant County series and I am very excited for it, but I'm going to pick this one up on audiobook because I have now discovered that the lady who does the narration for them does all of the Georgia accents, and I am very there for that. Thank you, Ta. And then this is the stack that I am left with. My hands are shaking because I was playing squash and that uses muscles that I don't usually use. Oh dear. I'm going to use the boob shelf. It's going to be fine. So I'm not going to give a synopsis to all of these because I talked about them at some length with Kirsty in last month's video, and I will link that above if you want to see it. But the first book that I have got is Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. Then I have got The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli, Just Mercy by Brian Stevenson, Old Man's War by John Scalzi, Final Girls by Riley Sager, The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee, and then Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. Can you tell what's coming? I am going to be flipping the stack at this point in it. So I am going to be reading next Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter, then The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee, and then the one that's been calling me, the reason for the flip, is because I desperately want to read Final Girls by Riley Sager. Like I really want to, I want to read it right now. So that is the start of my stack for August, and then I have a few additions. The next book that I will be reading is also going to be using one of my new rules because it is Pieces of Her by Karen Slaughter, which is her new release, which comes out on the 9th of August, and I want to read it immediately. Oh my god. So no matter where I am on the stack, I will be picking up this book as soon as I finish one, because you have to read a whole book. There is no reading half a book and starting the next book. There is reading a whole book, and then starting the next book. So once I finish whatever book I'm on, this will be the next one that I pick up. The next one that I'm going to be picking up is one that I have mentioned on the channel before, and that is Sweet Pea by C.J. Scoose. I had to practice that before I said it. This is one that I actually recommended to Kirsty as one that I thought she might like, and of course now she's read it before me and is like, you need to read that right now. So I have bumped it up my TBR. This is about Rhiannon Lewis, and although her childhood was haunted by a fairly famous crime, she's just plain old Rhiannon Lewis now. Nobody knows who she is or what's happened to her. And she doesn't like people. She doesn't like people to the point where she now has a list of people in her life that she would like to kill. I really love the bit on the back which is like, by evening she dutifully listens to her friends' wedding plans while secretly making a list. A kill list. From the man at the supermarket who mishandles her apples to the people who have got it coming, Rhiannon's ready to get revenge. And I am ready to read about it. Also, the second book in this series is coming out, I think, towards the end of August, so I will be picking that one up immediately if I love this. And the last one that I'm going to be adding to my stack for August is Black Dahlia Red Rose by P.O. Eatwell. It is a true crime looking at the Black Dahlia case, which I do not know very much about, except that it was glamour age Hollywood, and one day a dismembered body was found by the side of the road in a perfectly normal suburban community, and it turned out to be an up-and-coming starlet. It promises police cover-ups and people who knew for years exactly what had happened, and P.O. Eatwell has claimed that she has done all of this research and she's come up with the real answer after all these years. So I have got this one on audiobook because the narrator sounds very much like reading a Philip Marlowe book, one of the Raymond Chandler books, and I'm very there for that style of narration, so I'm hoping that I enjoy it. So although they are now upside down, this is my stack for August. Have you read any of the books that are on my stack? Do you think I'm going to enjoy / not enjoy any of them? Have you read Record of a Space Born Few? What did you think? Please tell me all the things in the comments, including what you think of the new Stack It rules, and I shall speak to you all soon. Bye!